There is a direct correlation between me doing certain tasks in my business consistently and me making more money. So, continuing the series I've done over the last couple of weeks, where I share some of the biggest lessons I have learned in growing my business to seven figures and building my net worth to seven figures, I want to talk about how I learned that I needed to prioritize what I call the four moneymakers. You are listening to the Profit and Prosper podcast, the podcast that teaches you how to make a six-figure paycheck from your business without sacrificing your life today. I have a feeling that you know the things in your business that make you more money, but you find it hard to prioritize doing those things consistently. Getting caught up in the busy work and doing those tasks that make you feel like you're making progress, these are an illusion. These are not the things that ultimately are what will make you money. And sometimes doing the things that are the money makers is going to feel hard because it's going to feel like you are taking a pause. It's going to feel like you are deprioritizing the urgent and important things in the short term because you are, in a sense, deprioritizing the things that you are accustomed to doing and rushing around all the time to try to get done. And it can feel scary to take a pause. It can feel scary to let your foot off the gas or feel like you're letting your foot off the gas and focus on some of the bigger picture things that a successful CEO is going to prioritize above anything else. Here are the four money makers that you as the CEO need to prioritize above really anything else in your business: strategy, sales, support, and self. Let's talk about what each of those four things means and what you need to be doing to prioritize the four S's, or the four money makers. When we think about strategy, this is really taking the time to consistently work on your business. So this is where you take the time, preferably on a weekly basis, but definitely at least monthly and quarterly, to step back, zoom out, and look at, assess, and revise the overall strategy for how your business is going to make money. And then taking it a step further, but you also want to lead the implementation of that strategy. Especially if you have a team, you may delegate some pieces of that, but ultimately the authority and the decision-making ability really comes down to you as a CEO to guide the overall strategy and vision for your business. What I also include in strategy is taking the time to assess and evaluate your business. This is where you would use things like a CEO scorecard or looking at your financial statements, looking at the data in your business in order to see what's happening, to remove some of the mindset stuff and remove your thoughts and feelings and just look at the true data for what is working well and what's not working in your business. The second moneymaker is sales. So I know a lot of business owners, when they get up to where they have a team, some of the CEOs actually like to take a step back from sales and try to push that onto your team. The more successful businesses, the more successful CEOs will still take the ultimate authority for making sales in their business. Not that you have to be the one who's doing all of the sales calls, but it really feeds into the strategy component as well. Having authority over who and what you're selling and when, ensuring that your messaging and branding is on point. Ultimately, just making sure that you are out there, driving the visibility for your business and driving sales. Your marketing tasks also are going to fall into sales. Obviously, marketing is not the same as sales, but marketing is generating leads that fill your pipeline that ultimately become paying customers. Marketing is a thing that I know personally is really easy to put off when you feel like you're slammed with work. But if you don't consistently execute on your marketing activities, then your sales pipeline is going to dry up, and that leads you into feast or famine mode. So you have to have the ultimate authority to make sure that you or your team are doing the things that bring new eyeballs in. So attracting new people in, letting them know your business exists, nurturing them along until they become a paying customer. The third S is support. And so this is where you, as the leader of your business, have to make sure that you are leading your team. So that means hiring, training, giving feedback to, retaining your team, and ultimately providing them with the resources and the tools and the systems that they need in order to be successful. I do think that there's a difference between leading a team and managing a team. And oftentimes, as the CEO of your business, you're going to be doing both. So, leading a team, from my perspective, is how you show the way that you act, the way that you show up, the way that you interact with your clients and your team, the way you treat yourself and other people. To me, is how you're leading. You're guiding them through the strategy. You have authority over that strategy, and you're the one who's saying, this is what we're doing, this is the way we're going. Management, on the other hand, to me includes more of the nitty-gritty day-to-day stuff. So hiring, interviewing, training, having your meetings every week, communicating with the team, reviewing their work. That's more management stuff. And as your team grows, in a lot of cases, you can start to delegate management of some of your team members to other team members. But ultimately, you are responsible as a CEO for making sure that everybody on your team is led and managed appropriately. And this is one where it can feel like, I hired a team so that I could work less hours, I wouldn't have to run myself into the ground, and now I'm having to spend all of this time leading and training and managing them. And I know that that can be frustrating, but this is an area where investing time and energy in the short term into developing your team, into being the leader that you need to be, is going to pay off for you down the road. Because you will have a team who is high performing, who does the things that you want them to do, who performs the work at the quality that you want to have, that your clients are happy to talk to instead of you. It takes that investment early on and then on a consistent basis over time in order to create that environment and then maintain it. Before we move on from this S, I do want to add that at-home support can be as important or more important than having the right support within your business. So making sure that, to help you manage your energy levels and to be present for your family, that you might need better support at home in addition to the support you have in your business. The fourth and final moneymaker is yourself. I'm not putting this one last because it's the least important. I actually would argue that I think it's the most important, but I personally have found that it is the most difficult to prioritize myself when the other pieces are not also in place. When my business was structured in a way that did not allow me to step back and away from the day-to-day work, that did not allow me to consistently bring sales in the door and have more consistent cash flow, that it became really, really difficult, not impossible, but just difficult to prioritize the things that I needed to do to feel my best and show up as the best version of myself. The things that I put in this category for taking care of yourself really are making sure that you are able to perform at your best ability. This includes making sure that you are sleeping first and foremost, because if you are not sleeping well, you're not going to have good energy, you're not going to do your best work, you're not going to be the best leader you can be. Doing things to maintain your energy levels so that you are excited to show up to work, so that you can put your best work in the time that you have and really be able to maximize your work time without, having to work for 10 hours a day. I also think that this category encompasses leveling up your skill set as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, as a CEO, as the leader of a team, doing things to improve those skills because they are teachable, learnable skills that you can get better at over time. So this might also include you taking the time to, learn things from new people, to hire a coach or a mentor, and really work on the areas where you feel like you need some extra support. There are our 4 S's, the 4 money makers that I have personally found when I prioritize in my week, every week, having time for strategy, sales, support, and self. I make more money than I do otherwise. And I'll repeat again that it can be really easy to deprioritize these things because they don't feel like, when you have emails coming in and team members needing things and just things coming up, fires that have to be put out, those are the things that don't feel like they're the most important. But I have found counterintuitively that when I spend less time putting out the fires and more time focusing on the money makers, that things just happen better in my business. More leads come to me. Things run more smoothly. My team does a better job across the board. Things are better when I prioritize the money makers. And I know that when I fall back into the habit of getting caught up in the day-to-day things that are not included in those 4 buckets, that is when my cash flow is probably going to drop. My sales are probably going to drop a bit. I'm not going to be generating as many leads, and I just won't make as much money. Or as my husband calls it, I just won't make it rain. So your takeaway is to ask yourself, how can you restructure your business and your calendar in order to consistently have the time to do the money makers on a more regular basis, even if you can't do them to the extent that you know you want to be able to do them? What are some things that you can do in the short term to restructure, to eliminate things off your calendar and create more time for the money makers? Well, I hope listening to the lessons that I have learned is going to help you make more progress in your business a lot faster than I did. So I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you back next time.